Hello, everyone, and my name is Misty Gaither, and welcome to Quest, a journey into true crime and the paranormal. I am so excited to have with me tonight as my guest, Maria Schmidt. She is the CEO of Mysterious Adventures Tours, and I really like what you're doing about that. Now, you you coordinate and organize and plan on these trips to all these spiritual and just really cool places, and you have some really great ones coming up that I see, that's in the hopper too, that's going to be coming up. Now, what got you started? I know people get into tourism and
Right,
different, like travel agents and stuff
right.
like that, but to put the spiritual and the paranormal spin on your tours, what?
That's it. That's all
Right.
I do.
Right.
Yes, yes.
So
And
what kind of got you into wanting to do that?
I guess I could name it with two words. What got me involved with that, or what was the stimulant factor for that, and it's historic preservation.
Oh.
And I'm not trying to be all, fluffy about things, but that truly was, if you go to the core, the beginning of this idea that materialized truly over the last 8 years. So my husband and I owned and operated a very haunted bed and breakfast. It was Victorian down in Florida.
Oh.
And we realized that an 1888 building has to be well maintained, and it's a lot involved in just buying a little box hotel, with modern equipment and modern air conditioners, et cetera. And what occurred from that was that we found it hard to sustain it,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
because of that, and we also was introduced into the world that America's not always very historic preservation friendly, and they support a lot of their, the box hotels and all the really the gateways of what we call common hotels in America. But if you go across the pond, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
People treasure their inns, their bed and breakfasts, their historic buildings, their castles that get converted to hotel rooms. It is an impetus for them. So I said, but why are we allowing? And I saw a lot of decaying in our country of these beautiful inns that were basically, historic treasures in their town, the first inn in this, Smallville, USA town. And I learned it the hard way because we weren't able to sustain it because we were good. We were known for our haunted, right? We were known. I knew every ghost we had there. To this day, people ask me, what is the most haunted place? And you've been all around the world. And I said, I will tell you, it was what originally brought me to this field was Seven Sisters Inn out of Ocala, Florida. And that place was insane. And every day we had something happen. So in order to, you know, try to sustain it, because we were a little bit great on the weekends, but Monday through Thursday, we were anemic because we did not cater to the business traveler. It's always the weekend hunters, et cetera. Most of the people that came in to celebrate a beautiful anniversary or,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
wedding on an old beautiful Victorian, or they were there to ghost hunt.
Right. Right.
So there was no other, during the week. So we started because of that. We started with what was called the world's largest ghost hunt. And I am the proprietor of that. Started 8 years
And
ago.
and I don't mean to interrupt you, but you're
Uh-huh.
also the founder of a National
National
Ghost
Ghost
Hunting
Hunting
Day.
Day.
Now, for those of you who do not know, you know how there's a day for everything, but Maria here is the founder of National Ghost Hunting Day, and it's the last Saturday of every September. And
You
this
are,
year it is
yes,
September the 28th. So it's
that's
coming
right.
up in a little
It's
bit over a
coming up,
month.
and
So
I've
how do
been a
you
little
celebrate
bit
that day?
with the world's largest ghost hunt.
Okay.
So, in the first 6 years, I really was taking it, and then something happened that I started this company, and it's taken every breath and moment of my life away from it. So we're still going to celebrate it, but it's going to be very independent this year. But the reason I started it was because I wanted to, and I never collected a penny for it. It was basically just to raise money for each of the properties
Hmm.
so they sustain themselves historically. That was my true impetus. From that, in one year, I was in something like 17 countries around the world. I mean,
Wow.
we were in Singapore, we were in Egypt, we were in what would have been, should have said Cairo, because we're in the Great Pyramids. We were in Romania and Dracula's Castle one year. I mean, it was just an incredible breath through the world. And it was phenomenal. That was like our heyday. I think it was 2019 when that happened right before the COVID. From that, I found all these beautiful people out there and beautiful inns and beautiful, historic buildings. And I go, they were basically my baseline
Hmm.
for starting the Mysterious Adventure Tours. Because I said, why not bring people to this? And I remember that being in the hospitality business, that there wasn't anything like that celebrated haunted and mysterious and historic properties around the world. And right now we're finishing up our third full year of tours around the world.
Now, I really like what you said about the basis of the, starting all this is for historical preservation.
Yeah.
People really don't realize how much that it costs, like you said, to maintain and
Yeah.
I really appreciate these
Mhm.
groups and individuals who realize the need of that. You have Louisiana Spirits here in my
Right.
state of Louisiana. They're
Mhm.
really big on raising funds to help maintain.
Right.
Bree Hollingsworth and Nick, they help with the Wildwood Sanitarium and just different people,
You got it.
that,
And all those people you just talked
uh-huh.
about, they all were part of the world's largest
Oh,
ghost hunt
okay.
at some
There you go.
point. So yeah, yeah, they live it. They live the
Yes.
historic. Another one that I will always treasure is Old Barrow Inn. And I still remember the first time she called me. I think it was in 2017, and Shelley said, Maria, I'm just like a little tiny old, bar in Baraboo, Wisconsin. And I said, what would it take for me to be in this so we can get recognition and raise some monies? I go, honey, you're doing it right now, just talking to me.
Right.
So ever since that happened, they've been recognized on top media, publications that they be one of the top restaurants, most haunted restaurants in the United States, and they
Wow.
truly are so haunted. But what gave them the spotlight was the world's largest ghost hunt back in 2017. So that I use as an example of all of us collectively coming together. Now, I was a little selfish because I also wanted to do a little research on the collective consciousness, and what it does to ignite activity during when everybody's thinking of doing the same thing at the same time, calling on spirit. And boy, did we get some amazing, amazing evidence on all the ones that we've done when there was a lot of energy being ignited that night, all the way from Australia, where they got an EVP saying, "Oh, they're all coming towards us. Do you see them?" They
What?
actually capture that as an EVP. So there is, and we call that the bridge. So the bridge at one time was a connection between the spirit world and the real,
Hmm.
in our world. And it was the bridge. And that's what a lot of people have, you know, referred to as being produced by the collective consciousness of all of us mortals trying to communicate with the dead. And the results have been magnificent. So it did a lot for historic preservation. It did a lot for sustaining properties that are haunted by giving them recognition. It also helped with para-unity,
Yes.
but it also helped in collecting some amazing evidence that, even though it wasn't very scientific, it truly showed that there is the unseen out there.
Talking about collecting evidence and how it kind of upticked when you got going, and intent is everything. And I think that had a big part into helping, because, they see people's hearts. They see, what you want to do. And I just feel that they open up more to those who are, want to do good. And I'm trying to think of how to
No,
say it, but
and I
you know what I'm saying?
understand
Like, yeah,
exactly what you're
yeah,
saying is the good intention
yes,
coming together collectively
right.
and then being recognized by the other world. It's absolutely true. And I'll tell you one quick example of that is during a year, because we collected all the data, all the words that were spoken. And then I took that data and I compared it and I said, well, how many times was this said here and this there? I mean, I had hundreds of properties that, were doing this. And I'll tell you what one year what it said. the word there was 2 years. I'll tell you about the 2 years. 1 year was all about music and harmony. It had to do, all the words, EVPs that came out had to do with music, and whether it's the word harmony or singing, or you heard people singing, it was absolutely amazing,
Wow.
Misty. And it was almost like, I would say out of the, I don't know, we had 150 properties that year. Out of all those, I think it was repeated like 30 times. So a good
Wow.
portion, 20%, to have the same type of EVPs collected, or, whatever they, on the ghost box or whatever they got it from. And the second year was the one that was absolutely, in my opinion, the most soul stirring of all. And the words came out as God and Jesus and heaven. It was all about the celestial. It was all about the other world, what we call, and I know that the word Jesus came up a lot of times. And I said, well, Maria, that's Christian. I said, I know, but they were speaking to people that were Christians.
Correct.
So that's where, and what you just said is what absolutely verifies your thought process, because it was goodness coming out. Goodness coming out. Did we have some kind of negativity going on? Yes. But I think they were isolated to the people that were conducting it. It wasn't because of the effort.
There is a quote that it says, a haunting is history waiting to be heard. And I really believe that. I think, I think it's easy to get in the field of paranormal, like being a
Get a
ghost
black
hunter.
T-shirt, you're in.
Right, a black, you're right, a black T-shirt and EMF, and you're good to go. And
exactly.
Right, it's easy to get in. Anybody can become a paranormal investigator or a ghost hunter, or however that you want to term yourself.
Right.
The intention of why you're doing it is what makes the difference in everything. Because are you there like some places that are haunted, and you have teams that come in and they're disrespectful.
An opportunist.
Yes, an opportunist. And that they're not in it to preserve history. They're not in it to help. I'm a medium, and I consider myself a bridge. I'm here not just to help the living, but I'm also here to help the dead and to give messages to both. And it's like, sometimes the reason of why that people get into this field is lost, or that some people have done it for so many years that they become, I don't want to use the word callous, but it's like you lose the appreciation of what is going on, because you have this wonderful opportunity to learn more about history, to learn about the future, even to learn about yourself. To me, if you don't treat it that way, then you shouldn't be in the field, because it is important, integrity. And so, we have sometimes.
And they know.
They know.
When it becomes a task,
right,
as opposed to an action coming out of your heart.
Right.
But it becomes a task, or it becomes a tool to be filmed and get a TV role.
Right.
You've lost it. You've lost it, Misty. And unfortunately, and I will tell you that I've met a lot of celebrities that are in that role. It's not just the ones with the black T-shirts and wannabes,
True.
There's a lot of people that it's a trade. It's a trade, it's a task, and it's a performance. And it's not the intention as what they want us to have with them. Like if I sit down and have a cup of coffee with Misty, we've been friends for 30 years, right?
Sure.
And we want to get together, we want to have a cup of coffee. If I'm being sincere or not. Right. If I'm really having a cup of coffee with Misty, or do I want to sell Misty life insurance because I just became an agent?
Right.
In other words, that's exactly the same type of feeling that they don't lose that. That Misty has been gifted. they don't lose that sensitivity and that intuition about us.
Uh-huh.
And, when it becomes sincere, I had miracles happen to me today.
Oh, okay. I want to hear it. Come
Three
on.
or, three or four of them
Oh,
happened to me.
wow.
It's just like little, and I talk about little miracles, meaning little, like, oh, moment. How
Mm-hmm.
did this happen?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, this is them helping me with a challenge that I had today. And it's because they saw that I was struggling and they saw that I needed help. And they even heard me say, please help me. And they responded. But I did it with, like you said, intent, and I did it with integrity. And I think that is the communication. If we use those two components, intent and integrity, then we'll be successful in the communication and a relationship to the other side.
I just think that that's just beautiful, that, we kind of get it, me and you, and I think a lot of people in the field do get it. And there's more good people in the field than there are some that, kind of gets more attention maybe. But in the end, I think we always say the proof's in the pudding. And if you are true, and if you, like I said, you have good intentions and integrity, it's going to come out, and the bad will come out, and the good will come out. And that's what we have to do as a community, is focus on promoting the good more than the bad. And, I think that that's, something that we must do. Now, you have been, you said, to 100 and something countries, or
No, I haven't.
Okay, but did your
That's the
tours
world's largest gun
the world's
center.
largest gun? Okay,
Yeah,
that's what I was like.
represented.
When I thought you
Oh,
said that, I
honey,
was like, Carl, go ahead.
Girl, she's on it. She
I
lives
was
in an
like, how do you
airplane.
even have time to talk to me tonight? Oh my God.
No. I've been to maybe about, I haven't really counted. I would say about maybe 14 to 15 countries.
Wow.
And that's really, if I would have started this 30 years ago, I would have been double on that. But
Right, not 130.
no.
I did like, when I was researching you and your company, I really liked what you said about, choosing where you're going to go, and where you're going to have the tour. And it is divinely selected places. I just kind of, when I read that, I was just kind of stopped, and I was like, that is so amazing, because it is like you're being guided by whomever,
Right.
a
That's
higher
right.
power to
That's right.
select these places. And not only are you selecting these places, but people who probably would never get to go to these places that, that you do, they're getting a chance to see many cultures, different ways of life, and also to experience more history in a whole nother country. And to me, that's like being an ambassador of the field.
Yeah.
Because, you're bringing out the good, and you're bringing out the uniqueness. And so you have this opportunity. You're like, okay, so like next year in April, you're having like an 11-day tour, 11 days in Ireland with Dustin Perry.
I know.
I know. Isn't that the coolest thing? And I was
He
thinking,
is such a love. He's such a love.
I haven't got to meet him
Yeah.
yet,
Oh,
but
you've
I would
got
love to.
Yeah.
He seems, of course, I've seen Ghost Hunters, and I know that he was on, like different things, A House in Between Part 2. And I just really think, Ireland, I don't know. I've never been there. I've only been, here.
That's incredible,
Right.
lady.
I mean, it's just amazing. And you also have, like, for anybody that knows, I think you have payment plans.
I do.
Right.
I
So,
do. Because I don't have a golden spoon in my mouth. I know that it would be hard for me to afford this.
right.
And we've been injured after COVID.
Sure.
The hotel rooms have gone like 30% higher. Airline tickets have also just gone out of this world. What used to be, and people don't know this, but I'll spill one of my little travel secrets here. Like to get a coach bus to cater. Usually, what I get is a 52-seater, because that way we're more comfortable inside of it. Right now, we're paying about $800 to $900 a day. People don't realize that that's how expensive it is. But that same coach bus before COVID was $500 a day. Is that crazy or what?
That is crazy.
It is. And it's all because of the petrol costs.
Mm-hmm.
And also, a lot of people left the field. So they're trying to get drivers. And all to get drivers, you give them more, higher pays. So there's a lot of assaults that happen in the tourism business. Just the coaches, like I said, pretty much doubled. The hotels went up about 35%. The airfares are about that same level. And, it's become really difficult. With that being said, I still rent. I know what my competitors do. And I think for the value, what you get, like to be with Dustin Perry for 11 days.
Amazing.
That is amazing. That's amazing because you can't even duplicate that. And to go visit the most haunted castle in Europe, which is Let Castle.
Yes.
To spend, a night there and dancing there in his castle with he's a traditional musician. I mean, to have that experience there in Ireland and go to the pubs and go to all the different castles that we're going to be going to, the fairy fields. My God, the fairy fields are so strong in Ireland. Those are experiences that you can't even duplicate. So we do all the payment plans. We try to make it easy. When you said divinely selected, that was something that came into my brain when I first created this business. And it is because it's governed by me listening to the other side and say, where is it that my folks want to go explore? Where can they learn the lessons? I'll give you a great example. We just came back from Peru. We were there 10 days. Wow. We went up to Cusco on the way, which is a very demanding city because it's 11,000 feet above sea level. So there's always that, altitude sickness being around. But we were so mesmerized. We spent, and they don't call each other shamans. They call themselves Andean healers.
Okay.
And they're basically, they live in tribes, even higher in villages up above the Andean, even higher than Cusco. And they don't carry cell phones. They don't have calendars. They don't have watches. All they have is the moon and the sun. Oh, and they gauge their calendar years around two things, the summer and winter solstice. In fact, I wanted to tape some of the, videotape some of the ceremonies and rituals we did, the cleansing, the healing, and all the learning we did. I couldn't because they prefer not to. He says, we're not here for a video. We're here for you. Put those things away. Wow. They don't believe in those gadgets. And one of the things that was interesting, and I heard one of your, Kathy, who was a wonderful speaker.
Yes.
And she talked about heaven and hell and all that, which we have been kind of subjected to through whatever our Christian teachings and education, et cetera. And the Andean people, they believe in the higher spirit. They believe in God. It is a mixture of Catholicism because, of course, the Spaniards came in and took over a lot of their country, but they kept their Andean spirituality. And it's governed by the skies, the mountains, the rivers, and under the earth. They don't talk about heaven. They don't talk about hell. They don't believe that anyone's going to get punished when they die, like we do. Like, going to hell. You belong in hell. You're Hitler. You belong down there in the fires of pits.
Right.
They don't believe in that. And what they believe in is that you do revisit your life. Just like what Kathy said. And I thought that was absolutely amazing, almost a verification. And they live such kind and holy lives because they don't believe in karma. They don't believe in revenge. They don't believe in spiritual punishments. I've been around the world a few places, Misti. I mean, everywhere from Japan to Egypt I've been very blessed. I will tell you that Peru has the most kindest people in the world, hands down.
Wow.
And it's because of their intense spirituality that is governed by nature, by Mother Earth, and they call it Pachamama. And it's just, as this old Christian lady was in front of them, I was overtaken in that concept of life and death, and made it so much real, so much comforting, so much inviting.
And it makes you think, kind of reevaluate your own life, and maybe I can be a little bit more kinder, or maybe I can be a little bit more understanding, and and it's like, you were saying how that they aren't really into the videos and the gadgets and everything. If you have, like, you're worried about video and so much and everything, and you're wanting to document, which I understand because that's what we do. But how much of that do you really absorb internally because you're worried about, let me get the best shot, or let me get this, or is the volume okay, or is is it in the frame, and you're so worried about getting through the video or whatever. You're worried about that more than the experience and what it can do for your soul. And so I really appreciate you bringing that out, because that is important, because so many times, we want to, well, let's, we got to have all these equipments, and, like the spirit box and the realm pods and the music boxes. And, we have so many things now. And when it all boils down to it, you are the greatest tool of all.
Absolutely. Can I tell you one quickie story that you will love?
Yes, please.
We were at the old ancient ramen.
Oh, I love that. Yes. I know it. I haven't been there, but I know what you're talking about.
I know, it's so famous, right?
Yes.
And we were there doing investigation, and we weren't getting anything. No hits, no nothing.
Wow.
That place is out of this world.
Yeah.
Haunted. I mean, it's back from the 12th century. It's one of the oldest buildings in the UK. And we weren't getting anything. We're not getting any hits. I go, we're here and we're all excited. We got our gadgets and all this.
Right.
All of a sudden, we got an EVP after we said, why are you not communicating with us? And they said, we're scared. And we said, why are you scared? You have weapons. Right there.
Wow.
Those gadgets, those blinkers, those
they don't understand. Right.
No, they were weapons. They were weapons. These are people, these are spirits back from 800 years ago, or 500 years ago, or even 300 years ago.
Right.
And they just didn't understand. And we forget that as investigators. Like you said, your best tool is yourself, because that's the tool they have. But if you start pulling all these tools and you rely on that, Misti, you're going to create a wall between you and spirit, because they don't understand what that is. They don't understand why you need that. We don't need that. Why should you need that? And they probably, and these spirits at the old ancient ramen thought they were weapons.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Because what I say is, all the tools and stuff really isn't for you personally. It's to prove what you feel, because what you feel or what you see and all that, but it's really to prove to someone else, to show the world, hey, I caught this, or hey, this, is really what, because when you walk in a place, generally, like especially if you've been in the field for a while, when you walk in some place, if it's haunted, or if there's somebody there, or no, this place really ain't all what it said, you personally will know. So maybe sometimes we don't need to have so much equipment, and just kind of, like I said, just kind of let it absorb through you. I think that's a good lesson I know it's a good lesson for me, and I hope it's a good lesson to others,
That's probably one of the biggest things that we do, is introducing the other part of the world with the techniques and the spirits that represent those countries, because they There's such differences worldwide, culturally.
Right.
And I'm very blessed because we created a posse of people that love to follow us on, they one year they go to Ireland, another one, we got something that's going to be announced at the end of September is a trip with Grant Wilson to Japan.
Oh, Japan, huh?
Japan.
Yes. Well, y'all
That's gonna
got
be
Illinois coming up in the first week of October, I believe.
Yeah, I do.
The Shadows of
Unfortunately,
Illinois, yeah.
that's not doing very well. And
Oh,
I don't understand why, because it's a really good rate and it's got the
yeah.
Congress Hotel as being there and all
Oh,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not doing well at all, unfortunately. But that's okay. People seem to want to get their passport out and explore because they get enough here to explore.
Sure,
They've done it,
sure.
they've done it.
Right.
I think that for them to be able to explore Sri Lanka or to, Germany or any of the really super duper places that we take places to, and to have the comfort that you're going to be surrounded by people that understand that culture, understand, the process and all the places that we're going to go to. I am not a tour guide for these places. When I go as a director.
Mhm.
I have tour directors that when I don't go, that go there to make sure all is being done correctly.
Right, right.
That we have local tour guides. And and a lot of them, well, that's my pre-request, know the paranormal field. So, or the
Amazing.
spiritual world, because that's very important. We don't want to see museums.
Right.
We want to see the spirits behind the museums.
Well, you know
Yeah.
what, Maria? I have enjoyed our talk so very much.
Oh,
And everyone, please go to, what is it, mysteriousAdventureTours.com,
that's it. That's
right?
it.
And just check
Yeah.
it out, and you'll be really amazed, and maybe even book a trip or two with
I love to
Maria.
see
She would
your
like that.
guests.
Yes.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I hope you join us again at another time to talk. I can't say the word enjoy a lot because
Just say it.
just say,
I'll
I
say it
have,
for you. I've
thank you.
enjoyed myself
Thank you.
tremendously. Thank you, Misty.
Thank you. And I hope you have a good night and that I get to meet you soon.
I hope so too.
All right. Have a good night.